I have to admit, I haven't really told this story before, but I'm still surprised to say that to people. Because the truth is, I never expected that I'd be standing here today, and I never thought that I would actually be an entrepreneur. So 3 years ago, around this time, or in the fall, I started graduate school, and my goal was to graduate and to go into consulting. And 2 years ago, through a lot of case prep and practice, I landed my consulting internship and then a job offer. And then a couple months ago, I finally told them that I wasn't actually going to show up and be a consultant. I'm still paying back my signing bonus, so that's a different talk about entrepreneurship. So if I'm being honest, I'm a pretty risk-averse person. And so this is for all my risk-averse sisters out there today. I want to talk about how I got to where I am today as an entrepreneur. So I've always been a planner. I'm good at setting goals and executing on them. I love crossing off tasks from my to-do list or checking them off on Asana. Do you guys ever go and write a task down just so you can cross it off when you did it? Oh my God, it's like the best feeling in the world. And I'm pretty good at following my plans too. So I did high school, college, Teach for America, graduate school, consulting. I was always planning for the next step because, candidly, I was deeply afraid of the amorphous future, that feeling of job search and not knowing where you're going to go next. So this is not one of those talks where I tell you to follow your passion, quit your job today, and invest your savings in a dream. Saying that makes me feel anxious right now for you. So instead, I want to tell you how we iterated on BallotReady and tested every step of the way until it became a full-blown company that I could graduate and join full-time. So our hypothesis was, when we started and still is, that it's incredibly difficult for voters to make informed decisions on the entire ballot. But the first thing my co-founder Alex and I did was actually set out to prove that. So we talked with over 100 voters, and this was political science professors, students, reporters, journalists, everyone, and we figured out that this was actually a problem that wasn't just true for us, that everyone had a story about guessing on their ballot or skipping all those judges or just voting for all the women candidates. So once we did that, though, we went out and we actually made paper voter guides. So I designed them on Photoshop, we printed them out, and we went to coffee shops, community colleges, rec centers, shopping malls, and we just distributed them to voters ahead of the 2015 primary, and for everyone we gave them to, we gave them a highlighter. We said, highlight what's useful to you to make a decision and cross off what's not useful. And what we wanted to figure out was, what piece of information do people need? What's the one piece of information they need to make a decision that we can put in our voter guide? What we realized instead is that everyone had a different way that they made a decision. Some people really cared that someone had experience in business. Other people just wanted to vote for the Sierra Club endorsed candidates. And then we had some voters who said, just tell me where they stand on charter schools. That's how I'm going to make my decision. So what we had to do is we had to design a voter guide that catered to every single person and helped that one voter find the information she needed to make a decision she felt confident about. But we still had to prove that people actually would take the time and do this online and type in their address to actually research their ballot. So we did what a lot of entrepreneurs have done. We staged a hackathon. We bought our friends pizza. We had everyone do the research for all the aldermanic candidates in 2015. And we built a very basic, ugly version of the site that we launched with $25 in Facebook ads. We had 400 people come to it over the course of a week. Yeah, at the time I was like, oh my God, we're in business. But we continued to iterate from there. So that allowed us to get a tiny bit of seed capital. We won the Booth Social New Venture Challenge. And then we spent that fall couch surfing around Kentucky, and literally, that app, couch surfing, we stayed in some sketchy places, but we had a less janky version of the site, and we had 13,000 people come the second time. And then we had 70,000 people come here in Illinois that March. And then we had over 1 million people come in 2016. So it was about that time, that November, when I called up this consulting firm and was like, I think this isn't actually going to work out. So the big takeaway I want to leave with you today is, if you're thinking of starting a venture, there's so much opportunity to validate your assumptions, prove your value proposition, set up a splash page, run a low-cost concierge MVP, Be really disciplined about what you have to prove, what are your assumptions, how do you know it's true. Even if it's something you care about, it could be no one else cares about Bluetooth umbrellas. You need to make sure that there's actually a market for it. But the other thing I want to say is if there's something keeping you up at night, don't wait. Don't feel like you have to quit your job because there's so much you can do to start right now. So I'm here today for the first time in my life without a clear sense of where this path will take me. And I'll admit that this sometimes makes me still very nervous. But since starting this venture, I've come to learn something very important, which is the power of unintended positive consequences. None of us are in complete control of our lives, even us planners. None of us can predict what will happen. But when we put ourselves out there and build incredible teams, great products, amazing companies, I do believe that good things follow.